Ох, как же часто ругают английский за абсолютно нелогичное произношение. Часто случается так, что написание и произношение слова вообще не похожи. В этом видео я решила рассказать про топ-10 самых труднопроизносимых слов в английском языке, и в которых, кстати, чаще всего ученики делают ошибки. А для того, чтобы эти слова лучше запомнились, и для вас это будет интереснее, сначала вы попытаетесь прочитать слово самостоятельно. Я вам дам несколько секунд подумать, прочитать это слово, и затем вы услышите правильный ответ. Ну а что, заодно и проверите свой словарный запас. Итак, первое слово хор. Как бы вы прочитали это слово? Choir. Choir. Да, вообще нелогично, но хор будет choir.
Choir.
Choir. He joined a church choir at the age of 8.
It was Wednesday, and every Wednesday at 7:20 p.m. sharp, the church choir gathered there to practice.
The choir has become my calling card to the choral profession.
And so I joined the gospel choir while I was there.
Второе слово сомнение, также глагол сомневаться. Прочитайте это слово, попробуйте. Правильное произношение doubt. Doubt. Да, буква B в этом слове не произносится.
Doubt. 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 Doubt.
The incident raises doubts about the safety of nuclear power. Some government ministers had serious doubts as to whether the policy would work. There's no doubt that he was a major artist.
What is your arc of perspective? You see, if your perspective is coming from a fixed mindset, coming from a place of lack and doubt and limitation and stuck in the past and worried about what everybody else thinks, these questions are very confronting, right?
Ally or adversary should ever doubt our strength and our resolve.
I have no doubt that a precision public health approach can help our world achieve our 15-year goal.
Третье слово балет. Правильное произношение ballet. Ballet. T на конце слова не читается, потому что это слово пришло из французского языка.
Ballet.
Ballet. We're going to the ballet tomorrow evening.
The Bolshoi Ballet.
I didn't start ballet until I was 13. I experienced a lot of hardships from a young age.
We've seen it in movies, ballet, children's books, and comics.
Now you grew up doing ballet. How often are you dancing these days?
Not as often as I like, but I love ballet, and I feel like it never leaves you.
Okay, can you show me a move?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Undo, plie, releve, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Not bad.
Da-da.
Still got those moves.
Четвертое слово регулярно. Правильное произношение regularly. То есть R не читается. Либо в американском чуть-чуть призвук есть, но он все равно буковка R проглатывается.
Regularly. Regularly.
Regularly. Regularly.
We meet regularly, once a month.
I see them pretty regularly.
Ask for feedback regularly at work. This takes guts, but it is super helpful.
Some say the more regularly you do this, the happier you'll be.
Indigenous American people began regularly inhabiting or visiting the area around 11,000 BCE, before it was even a swampland.
What I believe and notice often are people who regularly feel jealous are repressing some deep-rooted anger.
Пятое слово – выставка. Правильное произношение – exhibition. Exhibition. То есть H не читается.
Exhibition.
Exhibition.
An exhibition of black and white photographs.
The museum is staging an exhibition of Picasso's work.
She never agreed to the public exhibition of her sculptures while she was still alive.
Alice Curiouser and Curiouser is an exhibition that explores the impact and legacy of the Alice books across time and media.
And it is my greatest pleasure to welcome you to the exhibition, Monet and Chicago.
1 year later, I mounted my solo exhibition, Flint is Family, here in New York City at Gavin Brown's Enterprise.
Шестое слово – очередь. Правильное произношение – Q. Да, звучит как просто буква алфавита. Q. Ну вот так читаем это слово, да.
Q.
Queue. We stood in a queue for half an hour. You'll have to join the queue. A queue of people waiting for the bus. The queue for the toilets.
In Amsterdam, there will be a big queue outside the Van Gogh Museum to get in, because there always is.
Queue jumping is not acceptable and will not be tolerated.
Дальше идут слова чуть-чуть посложнее, подлиннее. И седьмое слово – иерархичный. Правильное произношение этого слова – hierarchical. Hierarchical.
Hierarchical.
Hierarchical. A hierarchical society.
And one of the reasons it's not common is because our traditional approach of the hierarchical system of academic achievement doesn't...
It was a very hierarchical society. The Grand Chimu was above everything else. Everybody else came after him.
Восьмое слово – предприниматель. Правильное произношение – entrepreneur. Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
And now I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor, but I've continued on that path, traveling, finding mentors, reading.
And within that statement is really what makes a great entrepreneur.
If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a business builder, if you are an empire maker, then fasten your seatbelts because you're going to love this episode. It's called What Makes a World-Class Company.
Девятое слово – преувеличивать. И прочитаем это слово как exaggerate. Exaggerate.
Exaggerate.
Exaggerate.
I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I'm not exaggerating.
It's difficult to exaggerate the importance of sleep.
I used to do it with my mother because my mother likes to exaggerate. So she would say something like, yes, there were 30 people at the family gathering. And my job was to correct her. And I would say, no, Ma, there weren't 30, there were 13.
It is hard to exaggerate how devastating COVID has been around the world, even though we're somehow getting used to it.
И последнее, 10-е слово – наследственный, передаваемый по наследству, врожденный. Правильное произношение этого слова – hereditary. Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
That word was coined as absolutely an abstract idea to describe a hereditary unit, some kind of thing that passed from generation to generation. But what is a gene physically?
Lords, there is also a small group of hereditary peers who have had their position passed on to them by their family, and some bishops.
For the population as a whole, first of all, because IQ itself is not hereditary in the way that we think of certain things like albinism or whatever being hereditary. It just isn't.
На этом все. Напишите в комментариях, сколько у вас было правильных ответов. Не забудьте поставить лайк этому видео и подписаться на канал, если вы этого еще не сделали. И увидимся в следующих видео. Bye-bye!